Hello, welcome to the show. Welcome to Paranormally Speaking. How is everybody doing this week? And we have all of us. Like, this is a while since we've had all of us.
I know, it's crazy. So
It's like a
funny.
celebration.
Well, it's like real life, always gets in the way of the things that, we want to be present for. And, unfortunately, I got to bring home a paycheck, stinking work and adult responsibilities and good grief.
Damn
So,
adulting, hey?
I know.
adulting.
But you know what?
Um,
We missed you, Trevor, because you
oh,
worked so
thanks.
much and we missed you. I miss your face.
So, yeah, this is the face that haunts nightmares. Yeah, just a lot of work, and that's just the way it goes. With the type of schedule that I work on, I'm gone a minimum of 2 Sundays in a row, and then if something comes up, like I get mandated in, or uh, you know, somebody gets sick at home or whatever, it's just yeah, it sucks. So, need to hurry up and retire. That's what I keep telling myself anyway.
Absolutely. I totally
Yeah.
get it.
How are you, Kathy?
I'm actually doing really well for the most part. Yeah, I was complaining to Trevor earlier before the show started. I was just saying our streets right now because of our incompetent mayor, who I'm calling out here on our show, Andrew Knack, which
Hi,
I
Andrew.
don't. Yeah, Andrew Knack, like it's ridiculous. Like we can't get down our street without we can a little bit now because there's been some thawing, but over the last week or so, it's like you have to drive at like 2 kilometers, and even then, your back end is like, I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee, 4-wheel drive, and I am freaking fucking terrified of driving down my street.
Oh
That's
no.
how
Because you
bad
need
our
it. Yeah, it's
that's how
because you need
bad
a
it
you need a Chevy. So
is.
You need a Chevy. I love it.
We're not gonna.
yeah.
No. Well,
But
I wouldn't get down your street because I just drive a Honda Honda Fit, so I'd be stuck. Forget that.
oh yeah, you can't. Like we watch school buses get stuck here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I've written all the newspapers just today. So I wrote my MLA. I've written the mayor. I have written our premier. Yeah. And so I don't know if anyone's going to pay any attention, but it's becoming a house. It's so funny. There was this one car at the end of the block, and I kept saying to Dre, he's going to get hit. This guy should move his car because it's like the super icy patch that as you're driving, all of a sudden you go, you know what I mean? Like you have to have like 10 hands gripping that steering wheel and kind of just like that's the only way you're getting by it. And I said to Dre, this car is going to get hit. And sure as shit, we drove by yesterday, big dent in it. And I was like, well, it's his own fault. I mean, and we have no fault insurance here. So it basically your insurance covers it.
Oh God.
So he can't even put blame on anybody now for it because it's going to be his insurance that's going to take care of it. Like it's going to be his rates that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is what it is. It's your own fault, right? But I don't know. Anyway, that's pretty much what's happening in my life. Nothing exciting. How about you, Lynda?
Everything. The new year, new stuff, new crap. It's kind of crazy. Everything's starting up a little bit late, which is good because we had everybody sick in our house over the holidays, the flu and all kinds of stuff. But things are good. I'm enjoying my mother's new cat, which is really cute. So his name's Lucky, and he's 10 years old. He has pancreatitis, and nobody really wanted him. So she is his permanent foster. And my mom's 92. So they're great. They do everything together. They sleep together. They eat together. They talk to each other. And he's the cutest thing. He's so amazing. So
Aw.
that's like the joy that I have in my life watching those two interact.
That's
It's
so
really
cute. Okay.
good.
You gotta love animals, like honestly.
Yeah, it's true. Right?
Yeah, I know with my cat, like being 20, I mean, I'm just like, he's always like except when I do the show, or maybe occasionally when I'm in the bathroom. He's always on my lap. So
Oh,
he's my guy. That's my guy.
yeah. Aw.
Yeah. But I want to introduce our guests. I'm so excited to have them back on the show. We're going to have Michael Luciano and Eddie Howell, and we're going to be talking about their latest investigation, which I actually have been I watched this afternoon. Really good. So I'm going to highly recommend it. But let's bring them on. Hey Eddie, how you doing?
Fine.
Hello.
Hi Michael.
everybody.
Good to have you guys on.
Thanks
Good
for
to see
having
you.
us. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. Yes.
We need a new year. It's time.
It's time. You're right. You're absolutely right.
You know,
It,
if we
it
get
was that time.
if we get a few more people on here, we can do the whole Brady Bunch thing.
Yeah.
I was
Oh, yeah,
just
no
thinking
kidding.
the same thing. We can-
Yeah.
We can
Who's
still do
going to
that.
be Alice?
Am I looking at the right way? Oh, no. I'm looking.
Yeah, nope, I wasn't. I was looking up and it's like, oh, there's yeah, good times. We'll have to work on that. We'll work on that one for next time. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll work
exactly.
on it.
Exactly. So tell us about, so first of all, Michael, just introduce yourself really briefly.
Sure. Hey, everybody. Mike Chiana, Heritage Hunter Society, and the creator of Journey Through the Past TV. Been on your show many times before. Always enjoy it. Love to share different things. I see you guys got a lot of snow up there, and we want you to keep it up there as long as you can. We had 70 degrees the other day here in North Carolina, so yeah, keep that snow up there.
yeah, we've had a crazy mild
gonna
winter
ship
in
you
Idaho
guys
too.
some.
So
Oh yeah, we're praying we get through it fast.
I'm gonna put some into a great big one of those big tubs, and I'll just ship it your way.
Yeah, I'll send some too because we've been snowed in. But Trevor, you said it's really nice where you are.
yeah, it's been really mild over here as well. So I mean, we're still waiting for winter to start. I mean, it just now started to get down to about the freezing mark. So it's been pretty bizarre. So
Yeah.
for us.
Wow.
I have a proposition. I'll just trade you places.
Yeah.
We had our Snowmageddon a few years back, so we're good.
Foiled again.
Yeah.
Darn.
Eddie, introduce yourself to us a little bit. Sorry.
I'm Eddie with NC Hags, which is North Carolina Haints, Apparitions, Ghosts, and Spirits. And we've been together since 2006. And fortunately, we met Michael in 2009, along with a couple of other people, and we became really good friends and started helping each other with investigations. And we've just built on it over the years and had really good fortune catching a lot of stuff and helping a lot of people.
That
Nice.
is so good.
That is nice.
Yeah.
And this is my second time on your show.
It is.
And I
Yes.
really appreciate it. Thank you, Michael, for mentioning me, and thank you guys for having me on.
It's really funny though. When I asked Michael to come on the show, I was like, we should ask Eddie to come on. This is in my head, but in case people don't know this about me, something hits my head and it might take the rest of me, a little bit to catch up to that. Right. So anyway, then Michael says, why don't we have Eddie on the show? And I'm like, yes, because I was literally just thinking about that. Yes.
Well, I appreciate it. I really do.
So, yeah, I was really glad that Michael suggested it, and I was like, because that probably it would have taken me an extra day to actually been like, oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna send the invitation out to Eddie too, but my head and my hands sometimes don't want to work at the same time.
Well, we did so many cases together over the years that we're like one big family, even though we're separate teams.
Yes.
And we do a lot of different things. And then we do a lot of things together. So, and talking about this latest investigation, which was Eddie's case that he brought in and invited me to come along, I just had to invite him, So we can share everything.
So tell us, okay, so is this barber shop, is this the first time that you guys investigated it?
Yes, it's the first investigation of the barbershop. And they, in the past, I can't remember how many months it was, Michael, that they said, or the past couple of years, they had never really had anything before that they knew of. And they had brought in some older things because they also deal in some coins and pictures and stamps and things kind of on the side. And I happened to go get my hair cut there. My barber is there, which I know it looks like I don't go to the barber shop. But that's where I've been going for years. And so my barber told me quite a few months ago, he said, do you still do that ghost hunting thing? And I said, of course, I've been doing it for years. And he said, well, we think we have a ghost. And I asked him some questions. And he said that a while ago, like I said, maybe it was a year or two, they had brought in a couple of things. And then all of a sudden, all this crazy stuff started happening. And there were things that moved. They literally saw things fly across the room. They heard voices. They heard like somebody walking in the attic, but there's nobody in the attic. And even some of the customers had witnessed some of this. And one guy, after hearing the person walking in the attic, he literally left and has never come back again. It scared him so bad. So we talked to the owner and to see if we could do an investigation. And I basically told him kind of how it worked and everything. And my barber backed me up because he's known me for years. And of course, after us deciding we were going to do this, the first person I called was Chiana, because I knew that we try to keep things small. We try not to have too many people. And Michael is such a good ghost hunter. He's just so good at really picking out certain things to do and get the best results. So I called him, he agreed to go, and we went and did the investigation, and it's all in the video, or most of it's in the video. There's a few things left out.
So I actually have the YouTube, this show scrolling across the bottom. I know that you guys can't click on it, but you are going to be able, all you basically have to do is really Google or look on YouTube for instance. Right away. So, I highly recommend watching it because it's a really good episode.
Thank you.
It was really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, we have a lot of videos under NC Hags on YouTube. And this one is listed as the barbershop. And there's many other ones on there, which of course you'll see Michael on quite a few of them because he was involved with going with us, or we were involved with going with him. It's very entertaining stuff, but at the same time, I tell people it's real. We never, ever, ever have made anything up from the very first time we ever went ghost hunting. We just knew we were going to report what we found. And if we didn't find anything, that's pretty much what we were going to say. And that's what we've stuck to all these years. Everything you see and hear, whether it's our stuff or somebody that came along on one of our investigations, it's all very real stuff. It's not Hollywood. It's not made up. We're not trying to scare people. It's for you to look at and you to make your decision as to how you feel. And someone did tell me years ago, they said one reason they liked watching our videos is they said they felt like they were going along with us on an investigation, because I have a tendency to talk to the camera and say some things once in a while. And I do try to show what we're doing. And people seem to like that. So like I said, we're not Hollywood. We're not doing that kind of stuff. We're doing real hardcore, sometimes boring, sometimes very interesting. And it is what it is. We never make anything up.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Now, I had a question when you were talking about this investigation, you mentioned that they had brought things in to the barbershop. So that's kind of how all of this started?
They think that, and we kind of think that too. We're not 100% sure, but, and plus the land is historical. There was a farm there, and there's a lot of things that went on there. So there could be some things tied to the past. And then again, there could be some things tied to the little antique things that they brought in. So we can't really prove either way at this point.
Right.
But we thought it was cool that they actually showed us. I've got it on the film, of this little bitty picture of this lady from 18 something or whatever, and they think a lot of the stuff emanates from that, because when that came in, a lot of stuff started flying off the shelf and just crazy stuff. So
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
It's really interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah. Multifaceted. Yeah, it's very interesting. One side is a salon for the women, and the other side is a barbershop for the men. And right in the middle, the owner has showcases of all kinds of coins and different collectibles, and a Civil War rifle from Harper's Ferry above up on the wall. So there's all kinds of different objects that are there. So it's very interesting.
Is there a baseball bat?
No baseball bat.
I don't remember seeing one.
And no baseball cards or anything like that.
That's interesting. So when exactly did this investigation happen?
What was it like, Michael? Like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? It was really recent.
Last month, yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes us a week or two to go through everything. And then we actually did go back after we found all the different evidence that we had. We went back to do a reveal, and they were blown away. And the owner, we don't mention where this location is or who owns it or anything like that, but he was kind of rattled when we showed him what we captured. He's not a big fan of the paranormal as far as like us, we're intrigued by it. So it was interesting, but he took it well.
I will say my barber, who was actually the one that was there with us, because we had to have somebody in the business because there is valuable stuff there. Yeah. It was me and Michael and Jeff from my group and the barber, Willie. And I give him a lot of credit because he's never been on a ghost hunt. And he was so cool and so calm and really paid attention. And we were not there to train him or anything. He just had to be there to help us get in and all that stuff. And he did an absolutely great job of helping us. And like Michael said, the owner is more skittish about it and maybe not too into it. And I'm not sure he loved the evidence. I think he appreciated it, but I'm not sure he loved it. Willie, on the other hand, thought it was extremely cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you guys are done an investigation, do you ever give them any tips or, anything like that? Like if somebody is really anxious about, the results of it, is there anything that comes from you guys towards that to maybe help relieve some of the anxiety?
Eddie gave him some good advice.
A lot of times what I tell people is, like you said, if they're nervous, if they're worried, if they want whatever it is to be gone. We have never done that from the very beginning. We made a pact with each other in our group. We did not do demonic cases that we truly knew were demonic. And we also did not ever try to get rid of anything. Our thing is paranormal observers. We're trying to figure out what's going on and to help the people.
Right.
So when people ask stuff, which is a great question, when people ask like, oh, how do I get rid of it? Or what do I do? If they're not too nervous about it, I usually tell them, I'm like, well, you kind of learn to live with it and just kind of ignore it or be peaceful about it, which is kind of what I had to do growing up because I grew up with ghosts. And the people that are really nervous and upset about it, I tell them, and this is kind of a broad statement, but I'm being very honest when I say it, you need to get a professional person, a preacher, a rabbi, a priest, a holy person that you feel, your family and you feel comfortable with, whatever it is your religion. If you don't have a religion, then there's a lot of other people in the field that work with those kind of things. And I tell them, I said, it's not going to hurt my feelings if you don't want this thing here anymore. You feel free to go get those people, show them what we've got, and use it to your advantage to get rid of it. But we can't get rid of it. But
Right.
I wouldn't really spend a lot of time getting too upset about it unless it was one of those cases that's like really bad. Then, yeah, you need to call somebody soon. So I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
That's-
I'm with you on that. I don't believe in cleansing either for the most part. You know, sometimes you can white light the place. That will kind of calm down the activity, make it a little bit less intense if it's, you know what I mean? But a lot of it really comes from the anxiety of the person themselves or the group of people or the family or whatever it is that kind of stir things up and can make it a little bit more feel a little bit more dramatic, I guess is the best way to say it. You know?
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I've got so I don't know if we're going to be able to hear it, but I'm hoping we can. I do have an EVP here. So I'm going to play this one here. And you guys can tell us about what happened afterwards. Hang on a second. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that I have to press share screen. I'm so stupid. Hang on a second. Okay, just a sec. Hang on.
You got this, Kathy.
I got it. Sure I do. I sure do.
You got that.
I'm glad that you have faith in me. Okay, can you guys see this? Is it
Yes.
showing? Okay. All right, so here we go. And hopefully, like I said, it can be heard. Oh, maybe if I turn off the mute. Okay, here we go. So I can actually hear that very, very clearly.
Yeah, we can hear it. Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting. So what happened with that? Like, how did that go about? Like, tell us, set it up for us.
Go ahead, Eddie.
No, you, because you're the one that caught that one.
So it was a very small building, and so it was the four of us all together. And we like to try and separate at times because having too many people in one area, if you have more than two people in an area, you're gonna get all kinds of noises, and you're not gonna be able to figure out who's saying what, who's breathing, who's burping. And so Eddie and Jeff were on the other side in the salon, and me and Willie were sitting in the barbershop area with the recorder on the counter above all where the coins were. We were just talking, asking questions, and really had nothing. It's so funny because that EVP, I was actually, my stomach started growling. We had eaten before we came, and my stomach started making a little noise. So I tag everything. And I said to Willie, I said, "Oh, stomach growling," and he laughed. And just after he laughed, that voice came in and said, "Will you trust me?" And so when I reviewed it and I found, I was like, "Oh wow, that's got nothing to do with my burping or my gas." So it was interesting. We don't know why he said that, but it was very clear. And we got and we only did about 2 hours that night. And just on my end, I got about 13 EVPs. So we have all different voices. Some are loud, some are a little bit quieter. Some are saying a full last name, which is very interesting. Well, like I said, we still can't really figure out what they mean by some of these things. But
Right.
I'd say 95% of what we had is intelligent. It was responding to our questions. So that was interesting.
That is so cool. So I found actually what you were talking about in regards to the picture. So I'm just going to kind of play. Whoopsie. That's not what I wanted to do. Hang on a minute. It must be buttons. Like maybe I have an issue with buttons. I don't know what my issue is.
You can do this.
I can do it. Okay. So yeah, this is the picture here.
Yes.
Oh,
It's really interesting. I didn't put on the volume for that one just simply because.
It's okay.
But and again, I really highly recommend people going and watching this episode because it is really fascinating. And the nice part is that you guys get right into it. It's not one of those sometimes we watch, paranormal shows or whatever, and there's so much yippity yappity boppity
Bullshit.
that we do. Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like after a while you're like, I just don't care.
Right.
So I love the fact that you guys get right into it, and it's when I read Barbershop, I am not gonna lie. The first thing I thought was Sweeney Todd. So I was like,
Right. That's right.
that was my first thought. I'm like, oh, Sweeney Todd.
Well, what's great is that I don't think that episode's even 30 minutes long, so it's nice and short, and everybody should watch it because the photos that were captured in there were really amazing, and as well as the EVPs. So definitely watch it.
Sherry, maybe they were talking to each other and not to you guys. You never know, right? Like honestly.
Hey, Sherry.
Hey, Sherry.
Welcome to the show. Yeah, like you never know. Like it's hard to say where these are coming from. We have another one here, another EVP. And then again, I'll just play it really quick, and then you guys can set it up for me if you're okay with that. Sure. After. Here we go. I think that's just in the dark. Hang on a minute. Here. Can you guys see this?
No.
Not yet.
Oh, I'm such a dumbass.
Hit the button.
See what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We're just sitting here. I'm just watching it on my own.
you can do it. You can do it. We know it.
It's so funny. I'm going to have to start handing the controls over to one of you guys. I'm just like, okay, here.
There we go.
Can you move something? Someone just heard something else. Can you move something? Someone just heard something else. Can you move something? Someone just heard something else. Can you move something? Someone just heard something else.
That's really interesting. So, were they responding to you? Like, tell us a little bit about that one.
I don't remember. That might have been when me and Jeff were over on the salon side. We, like Michael said, he caught a whole lot, and Jeff caught a whole lot, and I caught a few. I can't remember the exact spot. I'm thinking maybe the salon side over there, and it did say yeah, which we've heard that EVP many times, either yes or yeah, and later, and I don't know, it doesn't matter if you play it or not, but I know another one Jeff caught later on was, we thought it was saying yes at first. It was like, because I said, do you know who Elvis is? Which is one of my famous questions. And we thought it said yes. And it may have said it the first time because I asked it twice, but Jeff like contained it and really zeroed in on it and it said my name. It said Eddie, and you can hear it really good. And that's not the first time my name has been said by a ghost, but I thought it was kind of unusual that it happened again, especially at the barber shop.
Wow.
I think this is it. Hang on a second. I'm just.
Well, since we introduce ourselves when we go in, we always say hello to the room or whatever and tell our names. The ghosts pretty much know who we are and what our names are. So,
Would it be the one that's it says captured by multiple recorders? Is that the one?
no, that's when we went outside for about 20 or 30 minutes, and we all captured a lot of just shuffling, some pop noises, some just really, it's kind of a little bit of a long segment, but you could tell somebody was moving around in there. And then it sounds like towards the end, it sounds like they close a briefcase or open a briefcase. It's like an actual kind of loud noise. And so we all captured that, and we were outside, nobody was in there at all.
Yeah. That is crazy.
That's bizarre.
I'm just trying to find the one with Jeff.
That is so weird. Trevor, you've had that happen, right? Where people have said your name?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The last time that I had something like that was probably when Peter Wren and his team had come down to the Gooding Hospital. They were doing an Estes method in the basement, and I had walked in kind of in the middle of that session. And so Peter was under doing he was had the headphones and the blindfold on, and I'd walked down and the question got asked, who are you standing closest to? And she's named the people in the room, and then Peter, without knowing that I was there, she says, Trevor. I was like, what?
Wow. Well, they know you because you've been there a million times.
I've been there a lot, so yeah, they're probably pretty sick of me showing up and bothering them, I'm sure. So,
It's like, oh, he's back.
He's back. Here we go again. So
He's back.
I bring snacks, so I mean, come on. At least I bring
Do you leave them any?
Like snacks, yeah.
Leave them some snacks. Leave them some snacks. I'm going to try this one again. So I think this is it. I could be wrong, but because this is the only one I could find. Otherwise, it might be just. We'll try this one, but it does say Jeff capturing something.
Yeah, that was it. You'd have to, yeah.
That's crazy, hey? Like you can hear that very, very clearly.
Yeah. Elvis Presley Law.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is.
If you watch the episode, you'll really be able to hear it a lot clearer. It's every time you go on the show, it's so hard to hear things sometimes on these shows because multiple sending to different locations.
That's true. But you said you had 13 EVPs in 2 hours?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, that's normal for me. I get a lot of EVPs, I really do. But I use multiple recorders, and they're very high end. I use like really high end HD recorders, and that's important. And it's also how we ask our questions. And I'm one that I won't sit still. Eddie knows I won't sit still for 5 minutes. I mean, I'll sit down, I'll ask a question. 2 minutes later, I'm up, I'm moving the recorder somewhere else. I'm constantly moving it around, just doing different things. That's how I like to do it. And so I get a lot of good results from it. So.
Wow. But did you find that in this particular investigation that it was the EVPs that really, like, they were the big thing during this investigation? Because with some, it's not EVPs, it might be something else. But
We've
In
got
this case,
the photo I captured. I love mirrors, and I like to use mirrors and take a lot of photos through mirrors.
yes.
I do believe, and I don't say that it's a vortex or not because I don't know for sure, but there is something about mirrors for me that I've captured a lot of things in over the years. So yeah, we did get some really great photos that everybody needs to see, and also the EVPs are really well documented there.
Yeah, there's
You
a
guys-
couple of things in here. Like again, you guys should really watch it. I don't want to show the whole episode. You guys can go and look, but there is some great photos in
Well, we will say there is an apparition that's behind me that I
Yeah.
captured
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
photos, and so I do want people to watch the show because of this. And it looks just like a regular person right behind me, and there was nobody behind me at this time. And then when I did more digging into that one photo, I realized that I had taken a second shot seconds after the first one, and actually the apparition turned and actually looks like he's kissing somebody. And so it's very interesting. And Eddie was like, didn't you feel somebody breathing on your neck? I'm like, no. It's right behind me, directly behind my shoulder. So
Wow.
It's a
Need to
great
watch.
picture.
Yeah.
I did want to say one thing when you were talking about getting the EVPs and how we do what we do, and me and Michael have talked about this many times. And it's an opinion, and as we both kind of agree on it. And I'm not trying to put other people down because I don't know how everybody runs their investigations, but from the very beginning, we all kind of learned we do this seriously. We respect the entities in the place that we're going. We're very welcoming. We ask very regular questions. We don't do any grandstanding or try to make anybody feel uncomfortable or anything like that. And I think just our nature, the people that me and Michael have worked with, we've been so lucky because we really have a wonderful time. We have a great time investigating. And yes, we laugh and we giggle and we do stuff like people, but we take it seriously, but we don't try to take over the place like we're in control and we own it.
Mhm.
We're actually kind of visitors. And if they decide to talk to us, great. And if they don't, okay. But we've had great luck with pictures and EVPs and personal experiences because I've talked to other people and so has Michael. They'll say, well, I don't understand how y'all get this stuff because we go all night and can't get anything. And the only thing I can think of is maybe part of it's your attitude. Maybe you're hitting them too hard and you're not respecting them as an individual entity, whatever kind of entity it is. And like Michael said, he moves around. You've got to have a strategy of how am I going to capture this energy, this entity? How am I going to do these things and interact and not ask the exact same questions each time? Sometimes you have to change it up a little bit for the location that you're at and give many chances. It isn't always exactly what you think. So that's kind of, we've talked about that over the years, and I think we're correct about it.
I think you are too. I mean,
Passion,
that's how.
intent, respect. These are things that a lot of groups don't have, don't know what it is. And we've been doing this a long time. So we've narrowed it down to, well, we'll go into a place 2 to 3 hours at the most. We don't need, if there's a spirit there, we most likely will connect with them. And we used to do the 6 and 7 hours or 12 hours. And, we're getting older. So we just can't run that long, and there's really no reason to. Spirits are 24 hours a day. It's not like 3 o'clock in the morning is the magic hour. That's garbage as far as I'm concerned. Is it important to be in a place that's quiet? Yes, because like this location was on a main drag, main parkway, and we had all kinds of big pickup trucks flying by even early in the evening. And so we always have to discount that and tag it because we know it goes into our recorders. So other than that, you don't have to be somewhere really late at night to do that. And we weren't. I think we went in at 6 and we were done by 8 o'clock at night. And that's nice. That's a nice early night. Then you go home and still do something, you know. I like all these groups that are out there 12, 15, 20 hours. Yeah, have fun with that. We don't do that anymore. We don't need to.
And they sometimes, we learn too, they take a ton of people. And I mean, I understand if you're on a paranormal tour or something, I completely understand that. But if you're really doing down home ghost hunting and trying to actually capture some stuff, you got to keep the numbers pretty low, like 2 or 3 people. Unless if you're in a huge building or huge home, maybe you can bring some other people, but everybody has to get far apart so they don't contaminate each other's stuff. But I've seen where people will say, "Oh, we're going ghost hunting and come join us," and there'll be like 25 people in the picture, and I'm like, "No, that's a tour group," which is but true ghost hunting, you need a few people. Unfortunately, I think some of the television shows kind of made it popular to have this great big group of people and characters and personalities and all. Well, that's fine for entertainment, but if you really want to get some stuff, you need to keep the numbers down and keep it as quiet as possible.
You bring up a good point when you watch some of these shows, and exactly like what you were saying, 2, 3 people is usually good, for the most part, unless it's a really massive location, or an experienced team will know how to minimize the noise, right? Like they know what they're doing, they know how they're handling themselves, they can be around each other. But then you think about it and you have these TV shows with all of these equipment, and you got a cameraman, sound man, lighting, blah blah. I mean, it's like I mean, come on. Right? One of those EVPs might not be exactly an EVP, so it's funny.
Yeah. To capture things with production companies, that's it's very rare because I've worked with some of the other big names and met some of the people from the older shows that were very popular, and we would talk to them one-on-one when we'd be somewhere for a weekend, and we would say to them, it's like, why don't you catch a lot on these shows, especially like Ghost Hunters, one of the biggest shows. Some of the folks that they've had on, and we've talked to them, they said, man, we're locked into a place for 20 hours. We have, no matter what, we have to be there 20 hours and do this and that. I said, yeah, but for 20 hours, you're getting like 1 to 2 EVPs. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? And I believe it's the production companies and like you said, cameramen, soundmen, all these people in the background. Look at it from the ghost point of view. Would you want to talk to these people if you have all these people standing around?
Exactly.
People,
and you remember, it's a camera and a sound person for each investigator. You know what I mean? Because they're capturing every nuance within your face, every expression, all of that. So
they're not trying to capture the ghost.
Has their own crew.
Well, this is why we work by ourselves. Pretty much, I will always work by myself or one other person. I don't really like to even have 3 people around me because I know at this stage of my life, after doing this for so many years, reviewing, I don't want to listen to 3 voices talking or trying to be quiet in a room when I'm trying to connect with a spirit. So I'd rather be by myself or maybe one other person that's quiet. 3 people drives me nuts. I mean, I go crazy. I don't want to be around 3 people when I'm investigating because somebody's going to make a noise. Somebody's going to breathe heavy. I just don't want to waste the time anymore when I'm reviewing. It's just, I've learned to eliminate a lot of these things. So for me, it works great to do it that way.
Let me ask you a question. What is the most intense thing that you've had happen while on an investigation?
Go ahead, Eddie.
It doesn't need to be scary, but just the thing that you know, like it's like that instant, like, oh, I remember this, like this was intense,
Oh,
or
well,
this is a memory of something that
there's a couple of things that have happened along the way that were pretty nerve jumping or whatever you want to call it. But one that always comes to mind is Michael had set up a investigation, and I believe there were 10 of us all together. This was many years ago on the battleship North Carolina, located in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And if you've never seen it or read about it or whatever, it is a battleship, a working battleship from World War II. And it does have a history of being haunted.
Oh, yeah.
And Michael had set it up so I believe 10 of us all together could go. And of course, it's a huge ship, so we kind of split off in 3 different groups. And you couldn't hear the other people because they were so far away from you, except for your little group of like 3 or 4 people. And me and my guys at 2 a.m, and the reason I know is because I looked at my watch when it happened. We were going back to the medical area of the ship, which is a couple of levels down. And we had had a great night. We had, had some things we thought happened and thought we heard this and that. It wasn't like I was scared or anything. Do bear in mind, all the lights are out except for a few service lights. And in some areas, it was pitch black. And of course, we had our little flashlights and headlamps and all that stuff. And I believe there was Andy, Mike, Jeff, and me, and I was in the back of the line, and we were walking down the hall going back into the medical area, and nobody else was around. And it was the way I describe it. I felt a whooshing feeling or a energy feeling come up behind me, and no, I'm not psychic. It was like if somebody ran up behind me and literally had a wet blanket and threw a wet blanket on me. Because I'm walking and, we're kind of talking, going to where we're at. And all of a sudden I went and did because it felt physically like somebody threw a wet blanket on me. And it scared me. And I thought, okay, you can't nerve out. You can't say anything. You can't do anything. So I acted like nothing happened. And for the rest of the evening, we went on through, did what we had to do, and a few things happened or whatever. And I felt like something was trying to attach itself to me, as I'm assuming. So finally, at 6 a.m, we're getting off the ship and we're going to the car. And one of the guys in my group looks at me and he goes, is there something wrong with you? And right when he said it, 1 or 2 of the other guys goes, yeah, what's wrong with you? Something hadn't been right with you for a while. And so I said, oh, you noticed? And they said, yes, something's not right. And I had been trying to hide it so this thing would not attach to me or follow me off the ship or whatever. And that's when I told them what happened at 2 o'clock. And they said, well, it's really funny because you were having a great evening. And right after that, you got much more quiet. And you just didn't seem as connected as you normally are. And it really unnerved me because I physically felt something jump on me. Now, I don't know when it let go or what happened, but we've had a history in our group. We've always prayed when we left a ghost hunt. And we roll all the windows down in the car. And I know people can think this is stupid all they want to, but it's worked for us. We roll all the windows down and we pray and say nothing's allowed to go with us or attached to us. And you better believe that morning at 6 a.m. when we were leaving, I was really letting it fly about, God, don't let anything come home with me and all that stuff. So that was a good example of sometimes it can be unnerving. Everybody feels about it differently, but to me, it really did kind of scare me.
That's
Wonderful.
crazy.
Yeah.
That must have been terrifying, actually. Like, especially when you're so used to doing investigations, and then to have something kind of right out of the thin air, like, you know what I mean? You're just not expecting it. Like, there's investigations, that we've gone on in the past, and you're kind of like, oh, this is going to be just normal, or maybe you're expecting that something is going to happen and nothing absolutely does.
Right.
But, sometimes you just get into that place of being placid, and then all of a sudden, boom, this is where it kind of brings back the reality of what it is that you're doing and that we are dealing with other forces. Good
Yeah.
or bad, it doesn't matter. They're not of our world, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. How about you, Michael?
Oh, I have many, but this is one that sticks with me. We were doing Eddie and another group that's really good friends with us was invited to go to a home that was being sold, and it was actually being listed as a haunted home that the realtor um, contacted us, and they wanted to have a paranormal group come in and actually prove that there was activity there as they were listing it on the sign saying haunted, which was very rare to us to come across. And so this house was from the early 1800s. It was part of the Civil War. Actually, in the front yard was a Civil War soldier encampment at one time. And so there was a lot of activity in this area of North Carolina. And so we went, and the house was completely empty. There was no furniture in the house. It was a beautiful house. Owners had moved out. They had purchased another house already. They knew it was haunted, and they took everything out. So the house was completely empty. And so we set up our investigation, and we did what we do. And they had a claim that there was a little girl that they kept seeing on the staircase. And so that was one claim. And so everybody was elsewhere in the building. And I was in the parlor looking through the doorway to the stairs, and I was setting up my camera, just trying to get an angle. I was going to leave the camera static, just let it run for a while we weren't in there. And I was setting up the camera so I could see up the stairs. And I was looking through my little viewfinder, and I was backing up and backing up just to see what my angle was. And with that, I fell backwards right over something really hard, really solid. And I thought it was like a piece of furniture or something. And I landed on my ass. And I was laying on the floor going, what the hell? But my back was hurting because I rammed it to something hard. The way I can describe it is if you would take a telephone pole and cut it down to 2 to 3 feet high, that's how hard it was. So it's like when I was backing up, I fell over this object. And I was on my ass. And I'm in this parlor, and the parlor is completely empty. There's no furniture in there. And I'm going, what? It took me a while. It actually took me a while to dawn on me what it was. And I think that it actually was maybe the little girl or child that was behind me. And I fell backwards over it. And I'll never forget that. And even when we were leaving, because we were setting up and we were actually letting everything run, and we were going to go up to town and have dinner while all the equipment was running. And as we were leaving, my back was still hurting. And that's when it like came upon me. It's like, the hell? So that's something that stuck with me because I don't fall and trip over things. And this was backwards. So it's like, totally took me out. And that's one experience I'll never forget.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Freaky. Very.
Yeah, crazy. And we did get a lot of evidence from that case. And, everybody in the group was pretty much Southerners. And of course, I'm the Yankee in the group. And everybody was upstairs at the point, and they were saying something like, making fun of me. I said, I got to run downstairs and get some batteries. And they're like, yeah, you better go on, Yankee. And so they were just laughing and this and that. And so I went downstairs where my equipment was and where my batteries were. And I had my recorder with me. And the recorder captured a voice, a very strong male voice, and get out, like really super loud, like screaming at me. And of course, didn't hear with our ears, but the recorder captured it. And that was right around the time everybody was making fun of the Yankee. So it actually worked as a good ploy. It actually was a good task,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would have been, yeah, crazy.
Creepy.
What's that?
We did that many years ago, right, Eddie? Maybe 2010,
a long time ago.
somewhere around there. Yeah, a long time ago.
I don't. Somebody just asked on there. Lynn, I believe, just asked, "Did you ever capture anything about the little girl? Did you get?"
Oh, hi, Lynn. That's my friend Lynn from high school. And
Oh, wow.
no, I didn't. I was hoping that I would have captured something on the camera, but just having that experience, because we love to capture evidence and EVPs, but we love to have personal experiences as well on locations, not just photos and video and EVPs. Personal experiences are important, and that was, like I said, that stuck with me all these years. And to this day, I still feel, I can feel what I was like tripping backwards over, and so yeah, it was interesting. We did get a lot of EVPs from that location. None were children though.
Really? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Was the report, besides this little girl, was there other children that were supposed to be in the building?
No, just the one girl that they kept seeing on the stairs. And like I said, and they said that she was maybe 4 or 5 or 6. And so I was like, that would be like the height, like for some reason in my mind, it stuck 3 feet. That's like what I felt like I smashed against and fell backwards. And that would be about the right height for a child that age. So just great. And it was solid. It was hard because it took me off my feet. I mean, I fell completely backwards. It wasn't like I tripped over my feet. So
Yeah.
it was interesting.
I just keep thinking like that would have been terrifying all of a sudden. Just
oh, it just it took me a while to dawn on what happened, so yeah, it is important to have personal experiences. Besides, we do get a lot of EVPs, we get a lot of photos and things, but I love to have personal experiences with them as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are important. And Eddie, just to zone back a little bit, when you were saying, well, you might think this is really stupid, but we open up all the car windows and we say, don't follow us. We do the exact same thing. And I always tell people that, it's a really good idea to do that, because after having done what we do for all these years, I've had something follow me home because I was really shoddy and didn't pay attention, etc. And that's not a nice experience. So I think that's excellent that you do that.
Thank you. Well, one of the guys in our group, this was quite a few years ago, we had always done that, but we went to, I think it was the conference where we met you at in 2009, Michael.
Right, Lake Lure Inn.
We went to Lake Lure in the mountains, and one of our guys had a new car and he wanted to drive his new car. Normally we all ride together, and so he went in his car and the other ones went in my car, the other car, whatever. And we had a lot of experiences at Lake Lure Inn, which part of Dirty Dancing was filmed there. And we had a great time doing all that stuff. And when we were leaving, he had left early the next morning, and we knew there was activity because the Lake Lure Inn is pretty haunted. And we knew there was activity and we had witnessed some stuff. And he took on off that morning to go back home. Well, the other ones of us waited and ate the brunch or whatever and talked to everybody and then went home. And later, I can't remember if he texted me, maybe it was the next day or something. And we ended up talking, and he said something followed him home and was scaring his cats and made noises all night and literally spoke to him in midair. It said his name and all this stuff. And the first thing I said, okay, when you left the other day, did you pray before you left? And he said, no, I didn't. And I said, I told you we always do that. We've done it from the beginning. That's what we do. And he said, well, I didn't do it. And now I'm kind of regretting it. And that thing, whatever it was that followed him home, literally was there probably for a couple of months. And he did tell it to leave. And we would go over, and of course we all kind of joked with each other like he had a pet ghost and all this kind of stuff. And eventually I believe it left. But to me, it just proved, I was like, yeah, I'm sticking with the prayer thing for sure. If everybody else wants to do whatever they do, I'm fine with that. But I'm sticking with the good old fashioned regular prayer thing. It works, and I've seen it work in action.
Yeah.
At the very least, having a ritual that works for you. I agree with you, Eddie, in regards to the prayer. And I mean, there's obviously going to be the people that, are not religious, or they, whatever it is. But, the main thing is have something within your own self that you do have faith in.
Mhm.
And, however you decide to cleanse energy around within yourself,
Yeah.
that's important to
Yes.
maintain. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Interesting. When I first started investigating, it was a whole story to get there, and I'm not going to get into it, but it was really interesting. I always carried crystals with me, so I'm kind of a crystal gal, but at the same degree, and very much into the prayer. But people kept saying to me that they kept seeing this Egyptian ankh around me, like, you know what I mean, like they felt like it belonged to me, and this was, through different psychics or readers. And I'd had at least 3 or 4 of them had said this to me at various times. I kept seeing this Egyptian ankh. So I was like, maybe that's like a sense of a protection for me. So I just went and had it tattooed on my rib cage. And so my very first tattoo, and it's about that big, on the side of on my side, right over my rib cage. Not pleasant. I'm going to say not pleasant, but I always had it with me. So that was where I was. If I forgot my crystals or anything like that, I still had the ankh with me. So,
Has anybody else in the group had something follow them home? Trevor, have you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I tried to talk in a little while ago, and I think my headphones have been going crazy, and so anyway, no, nothing has ever tried to follow me home. They probably realize that I have 6 children and many pets, and if
They knew
there's
better.
any rest in peace in the afterlife, they would not find it here. So
they wouldn't even get noticed. Like, that's the thing. Like, what would be the point of wasting all that energy to try and haunt you?
yeah,
Right?
if I have ghost repellent built into my house, so it's not a problem.
I did have one experience, and it was several years ago. We were doing a beautiful mansion that was being renovated, and the owners asked us to come in and see what we could capture. And having a public group that I used to run, I would take members to these locations for practice and to investigate. And so I went home one night afterwards, and when I woke up the next morning, it was about 8 in the morning. I looked in the doorway of my bedroom, and there was a figure standing there, black figure, about 3 feet high, could not see through it, total black. And I knew right then that something followed me. And I started yelling and screaming for it to leave, and cursing at it and saying, "You've got to leave. You are not allowed here. You need to go back." My wife was working a 3rd shift at the hospital, and I knew if she came home and saw something like that, I would be a ghost. And so,
Yeah.
I didn't say anything to her, and for 2 or 3 hours, I worked on it, and it finally did leave. But I never told her, and I was like, "I'm not saying a word." I said, "That'll be the end of my investigating," So that was my one experience, and I just woke up, and there it was, standing in the doorway, and I felt it was a child, and just thank God it was my only one experience that I ever had. So I'm glad it left.
I had a couple, but one of I think the very first time, actually, the second one was very friendly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was a friendly experience. There was nothing, malicious around it or anything like that. And it was more or less just kind of somebody that was just sort of joking, teasing, that kind of, and it was actually kind of sweet. So, but the first time this happened, we were on an investigation, and it was a troubling investigation to begin with. And it was really interesting because the medium that we were using at the time kept seeing something that was very malicious looking, I guess is the best way to say it, right? And so it was, and he even said to us at the end, he was like, look at, I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this. I don't know if we're going to continue it, but we'll see where we go with this. Because if it is something that's, demonic or whatever, we might not continue this investigation. So we're going to think about it.
Yeah.
And interesting enough, we all went home, and we just had, all of us had weirdest experiences. Like, I remember I felt like I was getting pushed on my way to my car. Like, I walked outside, I'm walking down the sidewalk, and I just like poof, like that. And I was like, what is going on? Right. But it was physically going after pretty much everybody on the team. And so we decided to go back to the house, and we were kind of like, what the hell is going on? Turns out, so our medium took another look at it. We did do an investigation, and we kept getting a lot of EVPs in regards to the child. And it's not a child, it was a teenager that was there. But it was because this thing was kind of around him a lot. It seemed to interfere or be around him, and it was like interfering with, like, he would be playing a video game, and static would appear, things like that. And of course, you think it's like electronics, so maybe there's flaws in the electronics, whatever it was. Anyway, through the course of the investigation, the other thing is that the owner, the client herself, was a lawyer, and she did have a psychotic kind of ex that was very much stalking. Right. So then that was another angle that we were sort of looking at. Anyway, as it turned out, through like EVPs and just investigating and all of that stuff, it turned out to be sort of a good friend of the child. It was the guy was a few years older, but he ended up committing suicide. And it was kind of him that was around this boy. And it was interesting because he didn't want to, from what we understood, or, like the bottom line of it was, he didn't want to be cleansed out. And I think that's where he was scared. Like, when he heard about paranormal team coming in, he was scared that we were going to flush him out, you know what I mean, or cleanse him or get rid of him. And he was really there as a protection for the boy, not only from this psycho ex that, was kind of hanging around this family's home and doing things, and of course staying within the law. So even as a lawyer, there was only so much that she could do. But just in general, because the kid was really kind of, going through it as a teenager. And so this guy was actually staying with him. And so the idea that we got was that he was fairly apologetic in regards to the harassment that he did give us. So it was a really interesting case. But yeah, it was really weird because you're walking and all of a sudden, poof, you feel yourself like, and you're like, like, what did I just bang into? Like, what the hell just happened? And people, all of us had different experiences with it. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
Back to kind of what Eddie was talking about earlier is, the way that the attitude that you go into these investigations with, and making sure, you state your intentions, why we're there, and that's something, we take that real seriously as well, because, one, it's one way to either get spirits completely shut down and not want to talk to you, or hopefully it's going to open up that dialogue if they understand that, hey, we're not here to make you leave. We're not here to cause you issues. And if you want to interact with us, great. We would love for the opportunity, and then, a lot of investigators that go in thinking that they need to be, beating their fists against their chest and provoking and I'm all this, that, and the other, the thing that they don't understand is we get to leave in a couple hours, and
have to stay.
whoever gets to stay gets to deal with the aftermath. So
we did go in very respectfully, but because we were always respectful. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't the issue, but I think that yes, we should have stated our intentions, which being a brand new team, you know what I mean? Like we didn't have a whole lot of experience. That's definitely something that, you know, it was a learning lesson in regards to that. And then, you know, the interesting thing is that once we were able to figure out exactly what was going on, he really quieted down. Like, you know what I mean? It's pretty much as though he kind of disappeared on his own. He was still there with the family doing what he needs to do, but it wasn't as, you know, aggressive as it had been in the past. So
yeah, it's very important to the first 5 minutes when I'm sitting down to do a session, I explain exactly what I'm doing, why I'm there, and that I'm there for spirits to communicate with them. And I tell them what the recorders are and what the equipment I'm using, just to make them feel comfortable. You know, me being in the service business for 40 years and going into people's homes, I do the same thing when I'm on an investigation. I make them feel comfortable right from the get-go, because otherwise, like Trevor said, they'll shut down and you could be there all night and you may not get anything, or you may not connect with them because they may leave. How do you know they're not walking out the door and say, "See you later, bye"?
yeah.
Really, you know, you're the stranger in the house. You are the ghost. You're the to them. You know, I do believe that a lot of spirits are living in their realm. You know, they're in their home. They're in their realm of what they were living. You know, doing their jobs and how they lived. And when you come into a location, if you're vibrating at the right vibration with them, yeah, you'll definitely maybe connect with them. But I do believe that they're carrying on in the life that they lived as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we can't thank you enough for being here. And we hope to have you back. And when is your next investigation? Do you guys have one planned or anything in the works?
We've got things in the works, but I'm not sure exactly the time frame. But me and Michael have talked a lot about some things coming up in the new year.
Yeah, I'm still working on a lot of my projects for my Journey Through the Past series. I still have I have 2 or 3 years worth of stuff filmed already that I need to sit down and put together and put them out. But me and Eddie are both at the same point in our life that we're just not looking to do local investigation things. It's just not in our wheelhouse. We want to do things that are different, locations that are different for us, something that's interesting. We don't really do any residentials anymore because we've done all that and we've helped a lot of people, but it's not something, it has to interest us as well. And so, you know, maybe the younger teams that are out there now, they could take on all that work. But for me personally, I don't do a lot of residential anymore.
Absolutely. So for those watching, if you would like, Journey Through the Past TV is Michael's YouTube channel. Make sure you check him out. And Eddie, we have NC Hags. I almost said MC like the motor club. NC Hags. Make sure you check out his channel and make sure you check out this last video. I am going to put it up just one more time here, and then it is the second here.
Just go to YouTube and put in NC Hags, and it is the barbershop investigation. It's the newest one. And then there's a lot of other ones you can watch too if you want to.
Cool. That's cool.
And thank you so much again, guys, for being on the show. We truly appreciate it.
And
we hope to have you on again soon. So we'll see you later.
Anytime.